The Galactic Council, a vast empire with a perfect 4,000-year record of conquest, sends Earth a devastating threat, a warning of inevitable destruction. But instead of fear or surrender, Earth uses this grim message as a tactical lesson. Human scientists, soldiers, and leaders analyze every detail of the Council's attack to build specific counters. They adapt quickly, turning the Council's own weapons and strategies against them. The story is tense and emotional, showing humanity's desperate fight for survival and hope amid destruction. It explores themes of resilience, intelligence, and the power of perspective in war. The stakes are nothing less than the survival of Earth and the challenge to an empire that believed itself unbeatable. At 3:47 Greenwich Mean Time, the alarms screamed through the underground halls of Earth Defense Command. Colonel David Park ran hard, his boots pounding the cold concrete beneath Cheyenne Mountain. The base had not seen this kind of alarm since the worst days of the Cold War. Red lights flashed like warnings in a storm. Blast doors slammed behind him as he pushed through checkpoint after checkpoint. Park's mind raced with possibilities. Was it an asteroid heading for Earth? A secret nuclear attack? Or had humanity finally met its first contact with aliens? When he burst into the Situation Room, the answer was worse than anything he had imagined. The giant screen showed a terrible scene. Alien ships floated in space, their dark metal gleaming coldly. They fired massive beams of plasma, superheated energy cutting across the surface of distant planets like a hot knife through butter. One world burned under kinetic bombardment, a shower of giant metal pellets crashing down like deadly rain. Another planet exploded into fiery pieces. One by one, entire civilizations disappeared. How long has this been going on? Park asked, his voice tight. 3 hours, General Morrison said grimly. It's on every frequency, every satellite feed. Park stepped closer to the screen. A huge dreadnought ship fired its plasma cannon again. In the flash of fire, Park noticed something. There was a pattern in the beam's cycle. It pulsed regularly, every 17 seconds. He counted quietly under his breath, remembering lessons from his Korean grandmother. She had survived a brutal occupation by memorizing the patrols of enemy soldiers. Park thought, if she could survive by learning patterns, so could Earth. 17 seconds, he said. That's their firing cycle. The room grew quiet except for the sounds of destruction playing over and over. Get me a tech team, Park ordered. And find a physicist who isn't having a panic attack. A calm voice interrupted. Colonel, I'm here. Dr. Yuri Volkov, a tired Russian physicist, stepped forward. He looked worn, but his eyes burned with fierce intelligence. Volkov ignored the no-smoking signs and lit a cigarette. Those aliens, he said, they're using magnetic bottles to hold their plasma beams. But their technique is wrong. Look here. He pointed at the screen, drawing patterns on the glass. They reverse the magnetic fields. It's clever, but we can disrupt it. Disrupt how? Park asked. By putting metallic interference in the right places, Volkov said. We can make their own weapons explode on their ships. Park nodded slowly. This was the first hope they had seen. In the next weeks, Earth worked like never before. Factories ran day and night, turning out new weapons and armor. Engineers built tanks with special ceramic armor that could spread plasma energy and save the crews inside. Scientists designed railguns that fired tungsten projectiles faster than sound, punching holes in alien shields. Military bases trained soldiers in new tactics, learning everything they could from the alien attack videos. The Council had made a terrible mistake. They thought their warning would scare Earth into surrender. Instead, Earth was learning. The humans were turning the Council's own tactics against them. Meanwhile, in the bridge of the Galactic Council's flagship, Fleet Commander Folknull studied the reports with growing unease. Every species that had received the warning before had either surrendered or been destroyed quickly. But Earth was different. Their factories worked non-stop, their soldiers trained with precise knowledge of Council attack patterns. It was as if Earth had taken the Council's message not as a threat, but as a lesson. Folknull's eyes twitched in confusion. They are not afraid. Sub-Commander Kron answered carefully, No, Commander. They are adapting. Preparing for war. The Council had never faced this before. For 4,000 years, they had never been opposed by a species so fast to learn. Back on Earth, Colonel Park watched the growing fleet of ships built to fight the Council. Ugly, rough, and patched together from many different sources, the Earth Defense Force fleet was ready to face the giants from the stars. Mitchell, Park's second-in-command, joked grimly, She's no beauty, but she'll punch above her weight. Park smiled. That's all we need. The humans were ready. The Council had shown their strengths, but also their weaknesses. Earth had studied every frame of every attack. They knew the blind spots in the Council's armor, the timing of their weapons and the secrets of their shields. The war was coming, and for the first time in millennia, the unstoppable Galactic Council faced a true challenge. The world was changing fast. Every city, every factory, every military base became a part of Earth's new heartbeat, its defense. Colonel David Park moved from command center to command center, watching the transformation in real time. Screens flickered with data, satellites scanned the skies, and the hum of machines filled the air. It was a race against time, and the enemy was closing in. From Beijing to New York, factories shifted from making cars and electronics to building weapons designed specifically to fight the Galactic Council. The Chinese produced disruption warheads that could scramble the Council's advanced targeting systems. Brazil's shipyards launched patrol craft armed with railguns calibrated to pierce alien armor. European engineers worked on powered armor for soldiers, designed to protect against plasma fire and kinetic strikes. The world's governments, once divided by politics and borders, united under a single goal: survival. North and South Korea, long bitter enemies, announced joint military exercises focused on ambush tactics learned from Council battle footage. Earth's chaotic cities, often seen as a weakness, became an advantage. The Council's soldiers were trained for structured combat, but Earth's defenders knew how to use unpredictable urban landscapes to their benefit. At Area 51, Dr. Volkov and his team pushed science beyond known limits. The physicist had not slept in days, driven by caffeine, nicotine, and sheer determination. In his lab, he held the final piece of Earth's defense, a new kind of warhead designed to invert the Council's shield frequencies. This weapon, Volkov explained to Park, does not just break their shields. It makes their shields explode. They called it the SAR disruptor. The first test was spectacular. The simulated Council armor melted away in a blast that shook the lab. Volkov laughed, a sound of pure joy mixed with disbelief. Park watched, understanding that this small device might change the fate of humanity. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the Council fleet advanced toward Earth. Thousands of ships moved with precision and confidence, sure of their victory. But they were stepping into a trap. As the Council fleet left hyperspace near the Moon, Earth's defenses exploded into action. Hidden missile batteries fired from camouflaged bases on asteroids and satellites. Proximity mines, crude but deadly, tore into the lead destroyers. Council shields flared and failed, unable to handle the new kinds of attacks. Human fighters danced through the battle, exploiting blind spots in Council targeting systems that had never been seen before. Every move, every weapon, every tactic had been learned from the Council's own warning message. It was as if Earth had read the enemy's playbook and was using it against them. On the Council flagship, Fleet Commander Folknull's pride turned to panic. His perfect record, 4,000 years of undefeated conquest, was cracking. His ships were burning, his formations breaking apart. He had never faced an enemy who understood him so well. "Prepare for full assault," Folknull ordered through gritted teeth. "Show them why the Council never loses." But the humans were ready. Their boarding teams moved through Council ships with speed and precision, placing explosives at exactly the right points to bring down vessels that had once seemed invincible. On Earth, Park's command center was a storm of activity. Every success was met with another challenge. Cities burned, millions died, but humanity refused to break. "We're not winning," Park said quietly to Mitchell. "We're surviving." Mitchell nodded. "There's a difference." The battle stretched on. Council ships hesitated, their confidence shaken by the fierce resistance. Human forces broadcast live combat footage across the galaxy. Every defeat of the Council became a lesson for other species watching, inspiring hope and courage. For the first time, the Council was losing its image of invincibility. Then, a message came from the Council flagship. Folknull appeared on Earth's screens, his alien features unreadable but his voice full of uncertainty. "Humans," he said, "you have fought with unexpected skill. The Council acknowledges your resourcefulness." Park responded simply, "Thank you for the lesson. Your warning taught us everything we needed to know. Every weakness, every blind spot, every predictable move. We have shared these lessons with others. Your greatest weapon has become your greatest weakness." The Council's officers stared at the message, stunned. No species had ever said thank you to them. No species had ever learned so fast. As Earth's battered fleet pressed forward, the Council was forced to withdraw. Their empire, once unchallengeable, was breaking apart. Years later, the Alliance of Free Worlds gathered in the captured Council throne room. Species from across the galaxy shared stories of how they had used Earth's lessons to fight back. From hive minds to asteroid miners, each had found new strength. Colonel Park stood before the assembly. We saw their warning not as doom but as data. We turned fear into knowledge and weakness into strength. Behind him, the galaxy watched a new future being written, a future where even the greatest empires could fall, and where hope was born from the simple act of saying thank you. The battle above the moon was just the beginning. Earth's skies burned with the light of conflict, and the ground trembled with the weight of war machines built in mere months. Every day new ships joined the fight, built with fierce determination and hardened by loss. The human spirit burned brighter than any plasma cannon. Colonel Park stood on the bridge of the EDS Stalingrad, Earth's flagship, a ship rough and scarred but deadly. It was covered with the new anti-plasma ceramic armor designed by Dr. Volkov. The Stalingrad led the counterattacks, taking the fight straight to the Galactic Council's fleet. "Sir, we've captured 3 Council destroyers," Lieutenant Mitchell reported, his voice steady despite the smoke and fire in the command room. Park nodded. "Good work. Have Volkov's team start stripping their systems. We'll turn their weapons against them." The Council's perfect record had been shattered. For the first time in 4,000 years, their forces faced real defeat. The Council's fighters, trained to move in flawless formations, now scrambled to survive. The humans had studied their tactics, exploiting every blind spot and timing weakness. On the Council flagship, Fleet Commander Folknall's eyes darted between the tactical displays, trying to find a way to turn the tide. But Earth's forces fought with a precision that seemed impossible for such a young spacefaring species. Every human ship broadcasted its sensor data to the rest of the fleet, sharing information in real time. "Our own shields are being turned against us," Folknall muttered. "They use our weapons as bombs." Sub-Commander Kron looked grim. "Our perfect tactics are failing. They know us better than we know ourselves." Across Earth, the war reshaped everything. Cities like Beijing and London lay in ruins, but humanity refused to surrender. The dead were mourned, but the living fought harder. Every loss was a lesson learned, every victory a reason to push forward. In the underground bunkers, Dr. Volkov and his team worked tirelessly, improving weapons and armor, cracking the secrets of Council technology. The SAR disruptor had become a symbol of hope, a small device that turned the greatest defense into destruction. "Physics is universal," Volkov said with a tired smile. "Even for aliens." On the ground, soldiers trained with new armor and weapons, moving through mock corridors designed to match Council ship layouts. They drilled boarding maneuvers and ambush tactics, always ready for the next strike. The Council fleet, though still vast and powerful, began to fracture. Fear and uncertainty spread like a virus among their crews. No species had ever fought back so effectively. In the command center, Park watched as encrypted messages flooded in from other worlds. Species once enslaved or conquered sent desperate pleas for Earth's combat data. They wanted to learn how to fight the Council. "This is bigger than us," Park said quietly. "We're not just defending Earth. We're sparking a revolution." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council struggled to hold together their empire. Fleet Commander Folknall's confidence was replaced by doubt. His orders became desperate, pushing his ships to dangerous speeds and risking everything. "Burn the drives if you must," he commanded. "We cannot lose." But the humans did not pursue the retreating Council fleet. Instead, they broadcasted every moment of the battle. The galaxy watched as the mighty Council faltered. Years passed. The scars of war remained, but the galaxy had changed forever. In the ruins of the Council's empire, new leaders rose. They were species inspired by Earth's courage and ingenuity. They took Earth's lessons and made them their own, turning the tide in their own battles for freedom. At the heart of this change was Earth, a small blue planet that refused to be afraid. The alliance of free worlds grew, united by hope and the belief that even the greatest empires could fall. Colonel Park stood once more on the observation deck of the renamed vessel Remember Beijing, looking out at the stars. "The Council's warning was meant to break us," he said. "But it gave us the knowledge to fight back." A new message arrived on his screen, a request from the Kafari delegation to share combat recordings from the Siege of Titan. Park smiled. "Knowledge should never be hoarded," he said. "We share what we learn. It's how we survive." Dr. Volkov entered, holding a bottle of vodka. "We cracked their faster-than-light drives," he said proudly. "In 6 months we'll have ships that can match their speed." The Council's empire was shrinking. 15 member species declared independence, their chains broken by Earth's example. The warning protocol was abandoned, its power broken by those who dared to say, "Thank you." Park raised his glass. To Earth. To survival. To the strangest weapon of all, the will to learn. Across the stars the story spread. The Galactic Council's greatest weapon had become its greatest weakness. Because one species had the courage to say thank you, and mean it. The galaxy was watching. The epic battle that began near Earth had shaken the foundations of the vast Galactic Council. For 4,000 years this empire had been unstoppable. But now its image was cracked, its power questioned. It was the moment history would remember. Colonel David Park stood quietly in the command center aboard the Stalingrad. The once ragged fleet had grown stronger. Every ship was a testament to humanity's will, rough, patched, but deadly. Each bore scars of countless battles but also hope. Park's mind was sharp, always searching for the next advantage. The Council's tactics were predictable, drilled into them over millennia. But humans thrived on chaos and adaptation. Where the Council sought order, Earth found strength in unpredictability. Across the galaxy, other species began to take note. The hegemony, a hive mind species, adapted human tactics to their coordinated swarms. The Caver used their camouflage skills to turn asteroid fields into deadly ambush zones. The Sheltech miners repurposed their equipment into powerful weapons platforms. What had started as Earth's desperate defense was now a spark of rebellion spreading through the stars. Park addressed the Alliance of Free Worlds, 7 species united by Earth's example. "We did not win by strength alone," he said. "We won because we changed the way we see the fight. We took their greatest weapon, fear, and turned it into knowledge." Behind him, the screen displayed the galaxy's state. Red dots marked systems still under Council control. Blue dots showed freed worlds, their flags raised high in victory. The Council's empire was shrinking day by day. On the captured Council dreadnought, now the Alliance's headquarters, Fleet Commander Folknull sat alone. His ranks stripped, his fleet scattered, he was a man defeated not just by weapons but by ideas. The videos played endlessly in his cell. Footage of the Pentari liberation, the Verit victory, each showing how Earth's lessons had spread and been adapted. Major Mitchell appeared on the screen, calm and clear. "We're teaching the galaxy to fight," Mitchell said. "Your warning was meant to break spirits. Instead, it built a revolution." Folknull's eyes betrayed his fear. For 4,000 years, no species had defied the Council. Now one had shown the way. Back on Earth, life was beginning to heal. Cities rose from ashes. Memorials honored the fallen. The scars of war were deep, but humanity was stronger for it. Park stood on the observation deck of the Remember Beijing, once the Council's dreadnought, now Earth's symbol of resilience. A Kafari delegation approached. "They want our combat recordings from Titan," Park said. "Knowledge is power. It must be shared." Dr. Volkov entered, a grin spreading beneath his weary eyes. "We've cracked their faster-than-light drives. Soon we'll chase them across the stars." Park raised his glass in a toast. To Earth. To learning. To the strangest weapon of all, the courage to say thank you. The Galactic Council's warning had been a gift, not a curse. It revealed their strengths but also their weaknesses. And Earth saw beyond fear. They saw data. They saw possibility. Now, across the galaxy, encrypted transmissions carried Earth's combat footage to every corner. Species long oppressed found hope. The impossible became real. The empire that once ruled unchallenged was breaking, not by force but by knowledge shared. Because one species had the bravery to learn, to adapt, and to say thank you. The future of the galaxy was changing forever. The years that followed the Battle of Luna were hard but full of hope. Earth was scarred and tired, but it stood. The Galactic Council's empire was breaking apart, its mighty grip loosening. Across the stars, worlds once ruled by fear now dreamed of freedom. Colonel David Park walked through the rebuilt halls of Earth Defense Command. The memories of battle were everywhere. Photos of fallen heroes, medals, and flags from the Alliance of Free Worlds. Earth was no longer alone. It had become a beacon. The Alliance now spanned 30 star systems, each species bringing its own strengths and lessons. They all shared one thing, the knowledge Earth had fought so hard to gain. The secret that the greatest weapon in war was not the biggest gun or the strongest fleet, but the courage to learn and adapt. Park's thoughts were interrupted by his aide. "The Kafari delegation is here, sir. They request access to all our combat records from Titan." Park smiled. "Give them full access. Knowledge belongs to everyone." In a quiet corner, Dr. Yuri Volkov examined new designs for faster-than-light ships. "We've broken their code," he said. In 6 months, Earth's fleet will match the Council's speed. We're catching up. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, the same stars that had once seemed cold and distant now filled with possibility. Meanwhile, deep within the shattered remnants of the Galactic Council, former fleet commander Folknull sat alone. His empire was gone, not with a roar but with a whisper. The victory of the humans had shown every species that the Council was not invincible. Folknull's greatest regret was not losing the battle. It was underestimating the power of perspective. The Council's greatest weapon, their warning, had become the blueprint for their defeat. Back on Earth, Park raised his glass one last time in the quiet hall of remembrance. To Earth, to survival, to the strangest weapon of all, the will to say thank you and mean it. As transmissions of battle footage spread across the galaxy, species that had never dreamed of freedom found hope. The Galactic Council's empire was shrinking, its warning protocol ended. The galaxy was changing and Earth stood at its heart. The message was clear. Even the greatest power can fall when faced with courage, intelligence, and the simple act of learning from your enemy. The small blue planet that refused to bow had taught the galaxy that victory was not only about strength, but about wisdom, unity, and the will to rise from the ashes. And so, humanity's story became legend. A tale of how a single species, warned of doom, replied with a thank you. A lesson in hope that echoed through the stars for generations to come.